Morning. About part 2 this morning, so I'm going to have I've got a coffee machine in the house now, and this does the most superb coffees. Anyway, welcome to the mailbag. Remember, these are questions and comments you guys leave on my channel. I do my humble best to try and respond to you, or I throw them out to the community and let somebody in the community try to answer your query. But before we start, here are the normal parish notices. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe icon. If you want to be notified about new content being posted to the channel, which I try to do about 3 times a week, then hit that bell icon. Consider supporting the channel and the production of videos on Patreon. That's www.patreon.com/themusictechguy.uk. All funds received go towards the running of the channel and the purchase of new equipment. So to review and to repair and do other things with. Okay, so that's what Patreon's all about. And in this era of coronavirus, we are still in lockdown, so stay at home, stay safe, wash your hands, and hopefully we'll all come through to the end of this thing unscathed. Okay. The first one for this section comes from Adam Cohn. And he says, I can't decide if I like or don't like these Getto methodology of the company, but it's so good. So this is a response to the Behringer RDA updating firmware video I did back at the beginning of February 2020. And I did another video a little while back, which was called Giving the People What They Want. And it was all about Behringer and all the stuff that they have either released or they're planning to release in a sort of a 2-year window. And the way I see this is that for many years the musical community has asked major manufacturers to either reissue or the original instrument or update and issue a new instrument that emulates the classic, which, to be honest, until recently they've largely failed to capitalise on. I mean, I think there was a massive market for Roland in terms of reissuing classic drum machines like the V808 and the 909 and the bassline, the TB303. These things have been sought after in the market for a number of years. And I think Roland really failed to capitalise on the whole sort of way they could probably have released a new machine with updated circuitry, but that would have done the same thing. Now, I think Behringer in things like the RD8 and the RD9 and the TB and the TD3, have basically stepped into that market and have given the people out there what they've been asking for, which is a clone with additional functionality, if you like, of those original machines. In fact, to the point where, the machines that Behringer are pushing out actually look very, very similar to the original in terms of size and in terms of the way that the panels are laid out. Now, what I found with the clones, the ones that I've played with and the ones that I've got, is that they seem to be fairly well engineered. They're not completely software unbugged at the moment, so Behringer still seem to be working through some of the bugs in the software. But they seem to be, in terms of the actual unit itself, they seem to be fairly well engineered. And I can only applaud the company for giving the community what they want. I just think that the bigger manufacturers, the Yamahas, the Rolands, the Korgs, have sort of sat back for far too long and allowed Behringer to take the march on them. And it's something I don't think they will ever recover from completely, although I have to be honest and say the concept of the boutique series is good. Shame that they're also damn small. You could do with them being twice the size, because people with fat little piggies find it hard to press the buttons. But other than that, so the next one comes from Digiflex Electronics, and again in response to what the hell is ZenCore. And they write, ZenCore is the new name for the Fantom synth engine. 15 years ago, I had a large aluminium body Fantom with the same engine. Now, I can't comment really on the old Fantom engine because I've never had a Fantom. I've had one to play with, and I was offered one about 3 years ago, actually, from the same guy that sold me the Korg Oasis. And I kind of turned him down because I just couldn't justify buying two keyboards that day. It was sort of like he wanted the same money for the Fantom as he wanted for the Oasis, and I just didn't have the cash, which was a bit of a shame. But then again, having said that, I'm kind of trying to think where the hell I would put it. So, you sort of have to sort of work on that sort of basis, which is sometimes you have to pass equipment just because you don't have the storage space for it. And at that point in time, I didn't really have the storage space for it. Now, as I probably talked about on many other things, the ZenCore engine really has its roots back as far as the whole LA synthesis concept used on the D series. And then it was re-engineered on later synths and workstations. And I said I haven't had a Fantom, so I can only take my cue from what you've said. But it doesn't surprise me if what the comment you made doesn't turn out to be true in more substance than myth. But thanks. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, third one. Sorry, I can't read my own notes. From I'm gonna pronounce your name wrong. Yazwada Nico. And they write, I hope one day Roland re-releases this classic rack as a virtual instrument, but in the meantime I'll enjoy these wonderful demos. Cheers. So this was in response to my video on the demo songs that are on the JV-2080. Now, the JV series of synths were incredibly powerful synthesizers, and Roland did 3 racks for the JV series of synthesizers. There's the 1080, the 2080, and the 5080, with the 5080 being the last to be released and obviously the most powerful. And what's really interesting is if you go onto the Roland Cloud platform where they have their virtual instruments, they have a virtual instrument that covers the JV1080, and they have a virtual instrument that covers the JV5080, which were the rack mounts either side of the 2080. But all 3 share the same DNA. The JV synths were very, very similar in terms of DNA. They just got more powerful and were able to do more things as things like memory and processing became cheaper. So I'm surprised that the 2080 wasn't released. But then if I sort of turn around and think and step to one side, if you like, and say, well, the JV1080 was sort of like the base logic for the whole sort of JV range, if you like. And the JV5080 was the most powerful. So really, what they've given you is the sort of the first one and the last one, and skipped anything in between. I don't think there was another one in the middle. I could be wrong, actually. There might have been another one in the middle there. But if you really do want the sounds of the 2080. The stock sounds and bass sounds of the 2080. There are a number of platforms, to be honest, out there that actually have these as a plug-in VST or a virtual sound base. So I'm thinking of something like the whole sort of Contact environment, which I do know has a JV2080 plug-in for its environment. So you could go over there and you could grab the sounds from there. Now, personally, as I've said many times on the channel, I'm a physical hardware guy. I like to have physical hardware. Yes, it clocks up a lot of space, but I would still prefer to have a physical JV2080. Plus the fact I also like the fact that you can open it up and you can put the expansion cards in it. And I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff as well. So if you were to look on the second-hand market, you should be able to pick up a fairly good JV2080 for about £150, whatever that translates into euros and dollars. And to be honest, with a 2080, or even 5080, or even a 1080, you get a hell of a lot of synth for your money. They are very, very powerful and good additions to anybody's musical studio. And the last one for this comes from C. Dialio. I hope I got that right. And again, same video actually relating to the JV-2080 demo songs. And this particular tuber writes, can you put that on mine? So I'm assuming what he's asked is, can I give him the demo songs? And I'll answer this in a very generic way, because this is something that I get asked quite a lot. And the answer is that when I put the studio back together, I'm sure that I'll be able to cut the CSX files and send these over to you. But I do not expect the studio to be put back together for some months now. I mean, we're all in lockdown here, so I can't go and get anything out of the studio. And to be honest, I still need to work out with the people I live with how my keyboard habit will be curtailed. To be honest, I mean, they're being fairly accommodating at the moment, but you know, I can only take the mic off for so long, I suppose, with synthesizers turning up. No, actually, they are fairly. In fact, they're very good about what I'm doing. I actually get the bottom line with SysX files and synthesizer information is that for some things where I actually have to do a layout, or there is some media involved for argument's sake, so I've got to go and buy discs to duplicate the media for you, then the bottom line is there will be a nominal charge for that. That will be postage and packaging materials. So I'm just trying to be upfront about all this sort of stuff. Yes, I'm happy to give you the stuff. I'm happy to, you know, but if there's media involved or there's some sort of layout involved, then obviously I need to cover my costs, because I'm not a complete charity case. So I'm just being upfront. But the reality is, if you want something and I've got it, get in touch.